We are stitching some tights together. Got the seam pinned, ready to run it through. Going to stitch the crotch seam of these. Do a little back stitch. Pull the pins as we go. The way these pins are sitting, you can probably sew over the top of them, but which I do sometimes, but I don't recommend it. Part of this is a little thick. I do stitch over my pins if I've got them in this way a lot of times. Some of them are bent, so I'll pull them out. Should give me a good 1/4 inch seam. And then I'll top stitch it down so it's extra reinforced. Key thing is, let your machine do the work and pull the fabric through for you. I'm using a clear nylon thread on the top of this instead of all black, just because that's what I've been using. And the detailing, it's pretty sturdy though, I like it. And I'm going to top stitch it. So once I top stitch it, the outer stitching will be black. These seams, you can top stitch them or you can do another stitch along the side. I usually top stitch mine. I just like the way it looks, and it keeps from the seam blowing out. Don't stab yourself. There's that. We got a crotch seam. Looks like we didn't skip any stitches or anything, so I just cleaned this thing out, so it should be running pretty good. Yeah, I'll pull the rest of my pins out, and I'll flip it and top stitch it. A bit of a sinus cold, so if I sound a little stuffy, that's why. Or a little nasally, a little breathy. When I do mine too, I put a pin up here at the top also. So I've got my seam, but then also, this is where the top of the waistband would be. So, right there. That way it doesn't slide. Some of the spandex slides, it can be a little slick. So, I'll put an extra pin there. Kind of help keep it in place so the seam doesn't move too much. And lay this flat. Put our seam here flat. Put it up under the machine. And there's no set direction on these. I like to line the edge of the zigzag stitch I just did up with the end of my presser foot for the seam allowances that I do, and that usually does pretty good about placement. You can do it on the top too, on top of the fabric. I just do it this way though. It usually works pretty good. You can do it along the top too, and line it up with the actual line, but either way works. I want to do it this way just because the black thread I have is in the bobbin. And that should look better for the seam. I'm going to make this a little wider though. Some people do this extra step and some people don't. If I'm making professional grade gear, then I like to reinforce everything. And again, just let your machine do the work. This video's a little longer than I was expecting to record, but hey, why not? And the extra, probably 2 minutes it takes to do this on the seam makes it worth it. I know I wouldn't want to be wrestling in my crotch blowout in my shorts. Had that happen. Not a good experience. I was supposed to have these done a while ago, but OCD and I got sidetracked. So I will have them done this weekend though. I was going to have them done tonight, but I had some interesting things come up. Good things. Key with these two when you're doing these rounded seams, just make sure you keep everything flat and even. Because if you're not careful, that rounded seam will mess with you. And next thing you know, you're sewing down the center of the leg instead of down the center of it instead of down the seam. Done that before. And it looks like good solid stitch. And voila! Good reinforced seam. Nice curve to it. Nice design on the side. That's on one leg. The other leg looks the same. There we go. I'm only going one side of this for now because I have to put a belt, or not a belt, but it's sort of a belt. There's something going on the front of these, all the way around it actually. Around the top, there's a green trim going all the way around this. So I'm just doing the front for now. I'll put the trim all the way across it, line it up, because there's a decal going on the front crotch area. And it's pretty wide, so that way I can just glue it down where it needs to go and stitch it without having to finagle too much, and then I'll close the back of them up and close the legs up. So, some big boy tights. We'll carry on in another video.